this weekend I'm back in Cardiff and I'm heading to the Welsh Hoop Convention, whoopsie, at the National Dance Company Wales headquarters behind the Millennium Centre, where all the big arts organisations in Wales seem to have their bases. And I missed the morning, but I arrive in the afternoon. I've got 3 classes to take part in, and I start off with helicopter pilot, teaching a beginner's hoop class. And Ellie is one of the founders of Sparkle's Hoop Troupe, so they regularly run classes in Cardiff and South Wales. And I can spin a hoop around my waist, but some of the other tricks are a little bit beyond me, and the sound of hoops clattering to the floor is just, I guess, what can be expected at these kind of events. Quite like that it doesn't feel like exercise, but it is quite an aerobic activity, so I feel like I'm getting good benefit for having a lot of fun, which is always a nice thing from your activity. In the break, there's a dedicated kind of tea and coffee room. There is lunch put on for the people who are there all day. And there's also merchandising, like hoop makers, flow clothes and props. And then in the afternoon, I'm on a foot flow workshop, which is a bit beyond me, I'll have to admit. I'm not really up to these skills. It's taught by Steph Evans, aka Starfra, who is... She's got mad skills, and she's only just starting at circus school, which I was a bit astounded when I heard that. She's all kind of self-taught through conventions and these kind of, you know, community classes, which is amazing. Yeah, I'm not. And then my favourite class of the afternoon is Mariana de Sanctis teaching, well, it's more like kind of improvisation dance with the hoops. So she gives us different tools about different contact approaches, and I've done a bit of contact improvisation myself way back in my uni days, so I kind of felt I could get into this one because I didn't have to have any particular skill level to live up to. It was more about kind of just feeling the moment, which I really liked. And she also taught us a few of her own tricks that she's developed through her own improvisations. But again, I don't think I'm going to be up to a performance level anytime soon, even though I did have a lot of fun doing it. So at this point I'm knackered, so I'm heading home. But there's still an evening cabaret show taking place. And I don't know, I knew that juggling conventions were a massive community, like participatory activity, but I didn't realise the hoop community was so big as well. And I guess they're like similar spin-offs, both the object manipulation genres, I suppose. But yeah, maybe this one's for me. Maybe I just want to go and have a sleep. Now, I didn't make it down to the Wales Circus Convention at Upside Down Circus on Easter Sunday, but I did find myself back in their space for an aerial hoop class on Easter Monday, because I figured, you know, if I'm doing hoops this weekend, I'll try all the hoops. And now I have, every couple of years, gone back up onto an aerial hoop or trapeze, just maybe to remind myself how it works. Not the most graceful of creatures, but it is always really satisfying to be able to pull off a trick or two by the end of the class. And because it was the Easter weekend, I dropped in on like a bit of a treat, I suppose. They were actually doing doubles tricks. So that's something I've never done before. And the teachers there, Sam, and ably assisted by the lovely Natasha, and got to try out sort of counterbalancing the hoop against another person's body weight, which is something that I've never done before, and feeling how it moves under you when somebody else is shaking the kit. So I found this a lot more exhausting than the hula hooping, and also a lot more taxing. Is it wrong that every time we finish a move, I hope it's the last one? But I'm still glad to have been there, and glad to sort of say that I've given this a go as well. And I'm also glad to see the new painting. Every time I visit this space, it gets more ornate. So I'm back home, and I think there's probably a reason that I never pursued aerial as my hobby. because there are some pains that you can push through because the adrenaline and the buzz is worth it. And for me, hanging by my hocks just is not that sort of pain. So out of my Easter of hooping, I reckon the hula is probably more the way I am going to go. But it's nice to keep my hand in, and it's nice to kind of be reminded of how difficult it actually is to get to a level where people are performing and making this stuff look easy. So I'm sure I'll be back up there at some point, but not in any hurry. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye. But the best is yet to come, because I reckon the back of my knees, that's going to be the treat.